Have you ever eaten a meal that you thought was perfectly healthy, but just 2 hours later, you're feeling tired and hungry? So if you're dealing with pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or you just have some stubborn weight, you're not failing. It could be your healthy foods are lying to you. So today, you're going to look at 3 common foods that secretly raise blood sugar levels. And I'm going to show you how to turn that around 180 degrees towards better health. When we think of foods that would raise our blood sugar levels, we automatically think of cakes, biscuits, soda. But what if I was to tell you that in some of your healthy foods, there's lots of hidden sugars that does exactly the same thing as those biscuits, cakes and sodas? I'm going to give you 3 culprits. The morning smoothie. Everybody thinks that the morning smoothie sounds really healthy. So you throw in your banana, you throw in some blueberries, you throw in a handful of porridge, oats, whatever other fruit you've got lying around, and you whiz it all up together in a blender. And what that blender's doing is breaking down a lot of the fibre that's in those whole fruits, and they will now go into your system in exactly the same way as the cakes, biscuits, sodas. Second culprit, instant porridge oats. You couldn't get far away from the field that those oats were grown in than the little white packets of instant oats. Put them in a pan, heat them up. Normally in these ingredients there's probably a little bit of added sugar. If you get some of the flavoured varieties, they add corn fructose syrup, other sugars, as well as the natural occurring sugars in the oats. You eat that, 2 hours later, insulin level gone high because of the high sugar in your blood. The insulin knocks out that sugar. 2 hours later, you're hungry again. Culprit number 3. Low fat yogurts, low fat salad dressings. When they remove the fat, it takes away a lot of the taste. What do they do to boost up the taste again? They throw in glucose corn syrup, fructose, and all that is going to do is exactly the same thing as what the cakes, the biscuits, the sodas do. But it's all to keep the flavour because they've taken all of the good stuff out. Let's move on to the next one. So do you have to give up any of those foods? Of course not. What you could do is you could clothe your carbs. So if you're going to have a bowl of porridge, you could mix in a couple of scoops of full-fat Greek yogurt, a handful of walnuts. Then you could change the order that you eat off of the plate. So you could eat the vegetables and the protein first before you tuck into the carbs. And then the best bit of advice I could give anybody is once you've eaten, have a nice 10-minute stroll. That would be the best thing you can do for your metabolism. I'm going to finish off my stroll. Okay, to wrap this one up, I'm a health and nutrition coach, but I'm not a doctor. So if you're going to change any of your health protocols, please speak to your medical professionals before you do any changes. What I will say is I'm a 58-year-old type 1 diabetic. I've been a diabetic for 25 years. My A1C is in the normal range and has been for about a decade. My VO2 max is in the superior for my age. I've done this through precise nutrition, specific exercises, and great recovery. So I've turned my health around 180 degrees. Can I help you do the same? Thank you for listening.
Beats using watts.